tell us how you slew them old Arabs 2 by 2. Like the Zulus, they had 9 bows and arrows. Of how bravely you faced one with your 16-pounder gun, and you frightened all the natives to the marrow. Come out, you black and tans, come out and fight me like a man. Show your wife how you won medals down in Flanders. Tell her how the IRA made you run like hell away from the green and lovely lakes of Gilshandra. Let us hear you tell how you stand the brave Parnell and taught him well and truly persecuted. Where are the stares and jeers that you proudly let us hear when our heroes of 16 were executed? Come out, you black and tans, come out and fight me like a man. Show your wife how you won medals down in Flanders. Tell her how the IRA made you run like hell away from the green and lovely lakes of Gilshandra. Show your wife how you won medals up in Derry. You murdered 16 men and you'll do the same again. So get out of here and take your bloody army. Come out, you black and tans, come out and fight me like a man. Show your wife how you won medals down in Flanders. Tell her how the IRA made you run like hell away from the green and lovely lakes of Gilshandra. Oh, come out, you black and tans, come out and fight me like a man. Show your wife how you won medals down in Flanders.
Buckingham Palace announced the death of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II.
Yes, 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 yes. How's it going, everybody? Welcome, welcome, welcome. It's Monday. I'm back. I had a nice rest last week. That's right. Yeah, just I did not realize how much genuinely I had overworked myself. I was editing all weekend, and it was it was just a lot. It was just a lot. And I don't know, it's been real warm as well. Like, it's so warm today, I definitely can't have the green screen on. Not even remotely. So you're blessed with this. This is what I've got for you. How about that? You've got a bit of my door that is staying open. It has to. And bisexual flag. That's great, isn't it? That's great for everyone. I think it looks fine, actually. Like, I think maybe the only thing that I could do, like, maybe I could make this like a permanent thing. And I could have like maybe like a bit of a table there with some plants on it or something, just to make it look nice. I don't know. I think it looks quite nice like this, actually. I think it looks like, I don't know, proper stream. But yeah, how we all doing, everyone? It's good to see you here. We got some incredible people in the chat, as always. We got Catgirl Steph, hello. We've also got One Who Reads, it's good to see you. Just Johnny, thank you so much for the 43 months, dude. Appreciate that. Death in a Lovely Italian, hello, aka Valerie, as I'm now going to start calling you at your request. Oh dear, for some reason I'm getting API errors. What's with that API error? Is that something to do with Twitch, or is that something to do with me? Oh no. Oh no. Anyway. We also got Discrotter. Hello, welcome in. And we got Trans Salamander. Hello, bestie. How is it going, everybody? Hey, Nada161 as well. Hello, hello, hello. What's up, everybody? I hope you've had, hope you've had a good weekend. We know you have a life, and sometimes it requires prioritizing. It's not even a life, because it's like work, innit? Do you know what I mean? That's the whole reason I had to, take some days off last week. Obviously there was some other stuff as well. People in the Discord know, but there was some extra stuff. However, I'm back. But what I do have to say is that I have absolutely no idea what we're doing tonight. I've not thought about it at all day. All I've been thinking is, well, I'll probably go live later because it's the first of the month and it's my job. But I've got no idea what to do. And so I've sat there all day playing Sonic Mania, Sonic Mania Plus, actually. Trying to unlock all the emeralds, trying to get all the emeralds. God, it was fucking hard. God, it was hard. I've still not done it. Very, very bad. Very, very difficult. Very hard game. Too hard. Baby game. Can't play it. So, yeah, I've just been doing that all day, really. And this weekend, I've just been doing some chores, you know what I mean? I've finally repotted all of my plants after the fucking disaster, the fungus gnat disaster of 2023. So that's great. My plants are looking a lot healthier. My stepmom actually brought up some veg from her garden on Friday, and I've got that in the fridge, and I've had some of the tomatoes, and oh my god, they are so delightful, chat. Like some of the tastiest tomatoes I've ever had. But of course they are, because they've been grown literally 20 minutes away instead of probably in a different country. You know what I mean? So that's that, isn't it? Discrotter says, I had the misfortune of having to argue with some 15-year-olds that thought that poor people don't deserve free time and should have 3 jobs to become wealthy. Well, I can't say I envy you, because I find it hard to discuss that with people who've actually got the life experience to say that that's, you know what I mean, not great for anyone. Because when you're 15, you've never really been to work, have you? So you don't know what work's like. Well, hopefully you've not been to work. I'll tell you something, actually, chat. I went for a coffee with a friend on Wednesday last week. And was it Wednesday? No, it was Thursday. And I spoke to... We just had a bit to eat. We had some soup and stuff. And we ended up sort of like having something go wrong. My friend had like an order go wrong or something. Like they didn't figure it out. They didn't register it properly on the machine or something. So they forgot to make it. So it was late. And when it got to the end, the lady at the till, she was saying, "Oh, you'll have to forgive Rama. She's only 15. She's in year 10." And I was like, and then she goes, "She's doing work experience." And I was like, "Oh, okay, that's kind of all right." But then she said, "Oh yeah, and we were really busy on Saturday, so we asked her if she could come in, and she did, and she handled it really well." And I was just, my face must have been a picture, because she started like looking a little bit like, shit, I shouldn't have said that. Because I was just like, I didn't want to make a scene. I didn't want to make a fucking scene, but I was like this close to saying, that's fucked. That's fucked that you're making a kid come in and work on the weekend. That I was like, she knew what I was thinking, because I must have been scowling. But we were on the way out anyway, so I didn't want to. I just couldn't be arsed. I couldn't be arsed. But it's just horrible, isn't it? How normalized that stuff is. It's really normalized. Hey Prince, what's going on? Good to see you. No idea what's going on, but had to, but make a scene. Yeah, I should have. Yeah. Whoa! Had a friend try to potentially expose me to COVID, and I only found out because his ma let it slip. Whoa! What do you mean? Like, try to expose you to COVID? What, on purpose? Make you get COVID? Or just like they were just being irresponsible and not telling anyone? I've heard loads of people have gotten COVID after Pride. It's really bad. I know a few people who are ill, and it's really quite sad, actually. But that it's just gonna happen, isn't it? It's just gonna keep happening if people don't take it seriously. Oh, Middle-earth Marxist!
Yay. A sweet bean mule stream. Mappy Hyundai, DJ.
Mappy Hyundai, indeed, Middle-earth Marxist. Thank you so much for the £5. Thank you for subbing off Twitch. Thank you for supporting the stream. Chat, don't forget to sub off Twitch. Give me money. It's a new month. Let's get this started. I've reduced the goal for the month because last month I made it to 600 and I was completely fine. So I'm like, you know what? We're bringing it down to 600. Much more manageable for the time being. I've only had COVID once and I'd really like to keep it that way. Yeah, I've had it like twice. It's not good. It's no good. My mate is finally sort of well after 2 weeks. Yeah, it takes a hell of a long time, especially if it fucks you up with like long COVID like it got me with. So yeah, I wouldn't wish it on anyone. Yeah. It's horrible that he's saying that it's not that bad, Johnny. That's horrible. Like, you know, you don't know that, do you? It affects people in different ways. You know, you might, and also you might think that you're fine, but then if you get it again in a few fucking months or something, you might have a stroke. People have been having heart attacks when they're like 35 and something. Didn't that one wrestler who died the other week or something? I don't know who they are, but he was like 35 or something. And he'd had COVID earlier in the year and he just had a heart attack out of nowhere. Completely healthy. And of course the anti-vaxxers will be like, oh, it's because he has vaccine. You know. Hey everybody, it's from my working since 15 ass. No wonder I've never had a dream career. Yeah, I was the same, Middle-earth Marxist, but you'd like to think, wouldn't you, that in 2023 they're not still forcing kids to fucking work. Like, it's just so ridiculous. So unbelievably ridiculous. That is what's going down, isn't it? It is literally like they're just, I don't know, ridiculous. Absolutely absurd. Once was plenty for me, yeah. If I was able to get my hands on him, I got off with once, and since it completely fucked my sense of smell, even after 2 years. Oh no, yeah, for sure. Look, you just gotta say to that person, like, that's really irresponsible, and you are like hurting people if you do that. You know what I mean? You've just got to say that. You just got to say like, okay, I am fine with you not taking it seriously. I can't stop you doing it, but don't bring that around me, and don't bring it around other people who are taking it seriously, because that's not fair. You're gonna hurt people nonetheless. Nevertheless. So you know, it's just not right. It's not right, is it? Had a surprise huge bill, so I'll only give 1312s in chat for a while. Steph, you never, ever, ever, ever have to explain if you can't donate as much as you used to or as much as you want to and stuff like that. It's completely fine. You never, ever, ever owe me a explanation for that. But honestly, I appreciate it. You kept me afloat last month, Steph. So I think it's time for someone else to shoulder the burden. Do you know what I mean? Anyway, hopefully I'll have my new video out by the end of this month, so hopefully that'll get some more patrons. I don't know. I'm planning on releasing some more regular content until I do Berserk Part 2. So yeah, that's kind of the plan at the minute, because I need to build up. I need to keep building more patrons. I need more people coming in the stream. Yeah, that's that basically, because yeah, money ain't so good. But yeah. It's doable, you know what I mean? It's doable. I'm very lucky. I'm very lucky that like my living costs are like not as much as the average person. My second day, what does that say? My second day after testing positive last autumn, mate brought me a gram of FICO concentrated cannabis oil. Told me to eat it all in one go. It wasn't pleasant, but I felt amazing the next day. What the fuck? That's incredible. Yeah, wish that shit was legal here. I'd be all over it. Careers are a myth, to be honest. You can only get a decent pay rise with a job change. Yes, very true. Or unionizing. You know? That's the beauty of, you know what I mean, union action, right? Is it like you can actually have like all the things that capitalism says that you can have that is actually a lie. You know what I mean? So like job security, you know, feeling safe from discrimination in your place of work. All these things are achievable through union action, not capitalism itself. Capitalism tells you all these things and they're just lies. You know? Mostly because they're scared of union action. Mostly. They're scared of bad press and they're scared of union action, right? Anyway. So chat, like I said, I've not got a particularly planned out docket for you today, but the thing that everybody's talking about is Starfield, isn't it? Like Starfield, it's the new thing. That guy, there's that one guy who's bald, and he said fucking pronouns, didn't he? I don't know if anyone's seen the video, but he said it, didn't he? He said fucking pronouns, like he was having an apoplexy, some kind of, he was bursting a blood vessel. So you know, we're gonna check out a bit of Starfield by way of Stephanie Sterling, because we love Steph, she's great, and yeah, I wanna see some stuff about Starfield. Kind of tempted to get it, to be honest, because it looks like it's fucking well funny. Like, you know, I'm not just because it's got pronouns in it. Well, obviously that wouldn't be funny, but like, you know, it would be cool to play a game that's got pronouns in it, because I'm quite a woke guy, you know. So that would be fun. But it looks like a standard Bethesda game, which is extremely funny. It's a really good Jimquisition this week. Well, we're gonna watch it. We're gonna watch it right now. You were going to watch the video right before the stream, so that's good. Now you can watch it with cisgender white guy saying things on top of it, can't you? And that's the most important way to watch videos on the internet, isn't it? You have to watch it with a cis white guy saying all the things that he thinks about it as the video is being played and going on, doesn't it? That's the most important thing. Yes, that's the most important way to watch your content online. Hey Femboy Echo, how's it going? Good to see you. That rant made me laugh so much because someone pointed out that until recently the only pronoun option in Bethesda games has been they, because they just didn't have the time and budget to rewrite and record everything more than once. I know. Hey Chris, how's it going? I've not set up the stream alert. No, I'm sorry, man. I've been real distracted today. No. It's coming this week for sure. For sure. I really want to just like, I don't know, I want it on like a really low amount of like donations. So if I put it on like, maybe if I put it on like £5, and just every time someone donates £5, it's that guy going fucking pronouns, and I'll like deep fry it or something. You know? He got so mad that there's pronouns in the chat. He got so pronouns in the chat. He got so mad that pronouns are in his game. You know, I don't know what he's going to do when he finds out about verbs. What's he going to do when he finds out about verbs? Thanks, Discrot. I got Starfield early and I've got like 50 hours in it now. It's just a very polished Fallout in space, which is totally fine with me because I love the newer Fallouts. Okay, cool. Adverbs are way more annoying than pronouns. Yeah. Oh, God. Yeah, glad you're doing good. Representation is so important to marginalized communities like the cis white men. It's true. Yeah, you is a pronoun. They just don't understand it, do they? It's really sad. Like, if you watch that video, chat, like, just be warned, it is, like, quite distressing, like, just how mad he gets about it. But I think, one, there's, like, an air of, like, he's trying to get mad for the content, like, because obviously he's, like, clipped it, and it's going everywhere, and it's going viral all over Twitter, you know, and, because of course it is. So there's that, and then there is also the fact that, like, I don't even know, like, he says that it like takes away his immersion. That's what he's like crying about. He's really like upset. He's like, all I want to do is be immersed in my space game where everyone's in. Like, it's just like a funny. It's like a funny setup to the fact that he's like mad about pronouns, because he's talking about a game where like you're in space. Like, what are you on about? Like, it's a game where you're in space. I don't get it, man. Like, you know, he says like, oh, you bring in some current day stuff, like pronouns, right? But to him, like, current day stuff is anything woke, isn't it? Like, quote unquote woke. So like, you know, what is he like not mad about black people being in the game? Like, do you know what I mean? Because these people are mad about that a lot of the time, aren't they? They're like, oh, you can't have black people in space. That's not realistic. They'll just make anything up, won't they? It's probably, you know what? They probably can't get mad about that. They can't get mad about people of color. So they're just like, oh, pronouns. Because it's like, in the future. Did people get that mad about Cyberpunk? Because does Cyberpunk have pronouns in it? In the future, trans and non-binary people just don't exist somehow, I know. It's just crazy. I just don't understand it. It's just, everything about it is just so many layers and layers and layers of brainworms. And he's like old. He's like older than me, you can tell. It's really embarrassing. You know, like I fair play to guys like that who have, you know, they've worked at Twitch and they've gone on and on and on. And, you know, they've been streaming, like, games, and now they're, like, semi-popular or whatever. Like, yeah, good for you, man. Like, cool. But, like, you know, to be, like, that old and doing this job, it's, like, I just don't know. I can barely take myself seriously. And I'm doing, like, politics content. Do you know what I mean? Like, the maddest that I've got in, like, a long time was that guy who came in last week and was, like, giving it big legs about, oh, sometimes I say stupid stuff because I've got ADHD. And I got really mad at that because that's like, well, I don't, and I've got ADHD, you know? So it's like, I can't get there mentally to be on the same wavelength as that guy. Cyberpunk did have pronouns and girl dick, and yes, people rang about it. I knew it had penises for women and everything like that. I knew it had like, customizable genitals and stuff. There's a game that also has that. Baldur's Gate 3's got that, hasn't it? And people were like, well, to be fair, like, you know, I think that's what it is, isn't it? Like, there'll be like one guy like this guy, like every time a game like this comes out, and you know, conservatives will be like, haha, yes, look, we're right, people hate this, but it's just one guy. And like, maybe most people just like don't even think about it, you know what I mean? Yeah, so there'll be like one guy like that for like each game that comes out that has stuff like that, and then everybody forgets about it, don't they? Because people were definitely mad about the Baldur's Gate 3 thing, and I can't. Oh my god, chat, I've just remembered I've got some fucking content. Oh my god, I've just remembered I've got some absolutely incredible content. But we will check it out after the stream. Hang on, I think I can like quickly save this. I'll check it out, not after the stream. I'll check it out after the video, after this video, okay? But I have got some content for you, and I completely forgot about it. But hopefully it'll be fun. But we're gonna watch the Jim Sterling, the Steph Sterling video first. Hey Confero, how's it going? Welcome in. Okay.
I was attacked while on the dialogue screen, and now I can't move.
Oh yeah, there's loads of funny glitches in this game, chat. There's so many, so many. Anyway, make sure you go like, comment, subscribe on the video. Show Steph some love. She's phenomenal. But yeah, we're going to take a look at some of these. We're going to take a look at the video.
Wait, what's that smell? Ah, smells like Bethesda.
Hell yeah.
Almost heaven, West Virginia.
Oh.
Blue Ridge Mountains, Shenandoah. Life is on.
This is great. It kind of makes me want to get it, chat. It kind of makes me want to get the game.
The mountains blowing like the breeze.
Country roads.
Take me home.
Oh my god. Oh, the eyes. Oh my god, the eyes. On that last one.
West Virginia.
Oh.
Mountain Mama.
Yeah, I bet there's loads of compilations of people getting fucked up in it and stuff. That's
Let
great.
me know if you need help with anything.
Oh my!
You'll have to excuse me with all the ruckus my husband's been making.
I should be taking better care of my
customers.
difficult to get
He's
any
angry
rest.
at for
protection.
We've been
Neon
spared that
zone.
dignity so far.
They
I
apparently
think my husband
He's so upset.
I don't want to feel like I doubt him about it.
Oh, what's this?
I'm sorry.
Country roads, take me home.
Yeah, efficient. Give me all the dialogue at once. That's how you do it.
I belong, West Virginia, Mountain Mama. Take me home,
Country roads. Country back!
take me home, take me home,
Hey, Vord, what's going on? Welcome in.
take me home, country road,
There's just no one there.
take me home, country road.
Hey, Astra, how's it going? Welcome in. Mind you of Sophie's Cyberpunk Cyberdunk video? It was low-key stressful, yeah.
Hi,
right.
James Stephanie Starling here, ready to celebrate the release of Starfield, the hot new game that everybody's saying is Bethesda's most polished game to date.
Get out of
which
town,
is
people aren't
definitely
saying
not
that.
damning it with faint praise. Anyway, today we are going to be talking about encumbrance in games, specifically because of Starfield, which is completely polished. One review said it was polished to a mirror sheen. Yeah, possibly a bathroom mirror in Blackpool. Regional joke. Nobody has ever seen
Blackpool is disgusting, chat, just in case you didn't understand.
some loot in a game and said, you know, it would be more fun if I couldn't carry this.
Yes.
Nobody has ever
I'm always
demanded
saying that.
encumbrance be added to a game. Oh,
I'm
that's
always
right,
saying this, chat.
wankathons. It's time we talked about encumbrance. Or encumberment.
It's true, this is one of the worst mechanics in any game.
Whatever it's called. I prefer to refer to it under the label I've chosen for this awful time-wasting joy kill of a shitty system that needs to fuck off and die face down in a dirty little pond,
Yeah.
and I call it the awful time-wasting joy kill of a shitty system that needs to fuck off and die face down in a
This is kind of like, if anyone saw me playing 7 Days to Die and like how bad that was, and I was talking about in playing that, when certain developers try too hard to make things realistic to the point where it just, like, the gameplay just becomes so annoying that you just don't want to fucking play it anymore. Do you know what I mean? And that encumbrance or like encumberment or whatever it is actually like one of those kinds of mechanics. You know, because why does it need to exist other than like adding realism? Like, I don't understand like how it would be balancing to add encumbrance to a game. You know, I like limited carrying capacity in horror games that forces you to pick what you have and what you don't have. Now that is what I would call a balancing technique. That's one time when it's a balancing technique. That's different, right? For me, in a big open world, story, adventure, survival world, yeah, like, for example, any Bethesda game, right? It's one of the most annoying things of all time. Yeah, it's when the realism is inconsistent. Do you know what I mean? certain unfun mechanics are realistic, but in the same game you can shoot at a guard's feet and they don't react. Yeah, that's so bad.
Dirty little pond. TM. I try to be clever, call it load blowing.
You can die by trying to sprint
overload,
too much? What?
Overload
In
or
Starfield?
Benedict in Cumberbatch. But none of those names are actually clever, so I figured I'd just treat the whole concept with the respect it deserves and call it an awful time-wasting joy kill of a shitty system that needs to fuck off and die face down in a dirty little pond, because that's all it is.
I agree.
Carrying capacity and the hassling restriction thereof is right up there with pointless stamina
Right,
meter.
exactly, Cat. Gold being weightless in Skyrim inherently proves that encumbrance is a pointless mechanic. They're omitting gameplay conflicts with realism. Exactly.
Weapon durability, slipping while
Such a good
climbing,
point.
and pretty much everything else in Breath of the Tears of the Wild Kingdom that pisses me the fuck off and makes me never want to play more than the half an hour of it that I did before getting an AI to write my review for me. I am, of course, bringing this all up because of Starfield, Bethesda's latest Bethesda game that, having played it for over 20 hours now, is something I can describe as really just another Bethesda game, benefiting from the undeserved level of auto-generated hype and critical acclaim heaped onto it not just by fans, but by a gaming journalism establishment that refused to cover the story of ZeniMax and Bethesda's mistreatment of a trans woman, including outing her to colleagues and trying to make her promise not to take them to court in exchange for her gender-affirming medical care.
What the fuck? Can we just have that again?
Story of ZeniMax and Bethesda's mistreatment of a trans woman, including outing her to colleagues and trying to make her promise not to take them to court in exchange for her gender-affirming medical care. But
No, I didn't know about that. Chat, that's fucked. That is fucked. Good God. This is why I'm not going to play Starfield? Yeah.
basically, Starfield as a
Bethesda.
game,
So
it's
shit.
fine. I've played it quite a bit, and it's just more of Bethesda's usual stuff. A big and glitchy open space full of NPCs who immediately trust you to carry out random deliveries, rescues, and hostage negotiations because they know that you're the protagonist of a world that feels like it's made out of cardboard and populated exclusively by automatons. Outside of its size and some graphical improvements, it feels like there's been very little evolution from Bethesda's other games, with so much atmosphere, gameplay, structuring, and even some assets seen as far back as Fallout 3. I really do mean, for both good and ill, this is a Bethesda game through and through.
That sounds like it
Only
sucks.
this time with gameplay features merrily borrowed from No Man's Sky and layered with overcomplicated and
I legitimately thought that when I heard about this game. I was like, so what? They're doing No Man's Sky. You know? I just kept thinking that. I was like, are they just going to do No Man's Sky, but Bethesda? Bethesda's version of that?
explained mechanics that mostly serve to get in the way of the fun.
Right, Chris,
and there
yeah.
is fun to be had, rest assured, just because I'm not one of the millions who miraculously and conveniently forget how inept, untrustworthy, and odious Bethesda is the moment they release a new game, doesn't mean I can't do my job as a professional critic and point out where the game's going well. Its rudimentary combat is rather enjoyable, the influence
Hey,
you
Mr.
have
Dank.
on what to put into the world and where to live is rather engrossing, and despite finding most of it barren and unenjoyable to explore, I must say the sheer scale of it all is
It's exactly No Man's Sky. It's exactly what No Man's Sky is.
rather impressive, though of course I'd rather have a much smaller but subsequently denser experience pretty much every single time.
So round, so firm, so fully packed.
Now, I'd also praise the building mechanics, which do genuinely seem to be improved since Fallout 76, or at least better presented. But here's the thing. Thanks to encumbrance, I felt distinctly discouraged from bothering.
Yeah, like, because this is the thing, right? This is what they do. They give you, like, a building mechanic where you can, like, build a base and you can craft stuff and it's all very fun and ooh. But the materials that you need to build stuff are, like, the heaviest in the game. What is that about? What is that about? No Man's Sky promised like a bajillion worlds, but then just gave a bunch of empty planets with reskinned animals, right? Yeah. Yeah, it's like you would go on like one planet, and then go like 5 million light years away or whatever, like however far it was, to another planet in a completely different galaxy, and there would be like just the same animals and plants and stuff. Like, it was the plants that was the most annoying thing for me, really, because you can kind of have like kind of similar looking animals and get away with that. I'm willing to suspend my disbelief, but you know, the plants is really where you've got to have a lot of variety, and they just have it so that like the same plants are on every world. It's ridiculous. I don't know what's going on. Whenever I've played it, I've just been like, every single planet is the same. There's no point in going to any planet. The only difference in planets would be like you would go to a planet where there is no vegetation or animals. You'd scan it, but then it would be like dangerous. It'd be like a toxic planet, and you'd go there, and there would be like different resources that you need and stuff. Do you know what I mean? Sort of like how there are aliens on Star Trek who are just humans, right? And you can suspend your disbelief with that, can't you? Because it's like, okay, well, I can suspend my disbelief and say, okay, well, if there were aliens, yeah, I can have that. They'll be humanoid, like in appearance, like that's fine, right? And maybe they just have like some stuff, like the way they think, or like the way they feel or process the world or whatever, etc. Cool, and that's different. But you know, when it comes to other stuff, like that's the beauty of Star Trek, right? Because they just mostly have it on the Starship Enterprise. That's like where most of the stuff goes on. So you feel the world feels bigger than it is. As soon as you try and like get this like huge, unimaginable scope of like galaxies and planets and all that stuff, and you try and like do those like Hollywood style tricks, it's just not gonna work. It's not gonna work. You know? There's no planet that's just like rocks. No, there is planets that are just like rocks. There are, yeah. Those are the only different ones. Yeah.
I felt little compulsion to explore, gather resources and find items because one's starting encumbrance level is absolutely fucking paltry. Resources required for crafting and building can weigh considerable amounts, and the constant need to go micromanage one's inventory is about as entertaining as it's always been in games of this type. Not fucking entertaining at all. Within the first hour of playing Starfield, I became encumbered, which reduces your stamina and eventually your health if you try to move faster than a casual walk. And of course it disables fast travel. Within the first 2 hours, I had maxed out my robot's carrying capacity as well. It took considerably longer to fill my spaceship with so many crafting materials it hit the item limit, but I managed that too, all before I reached a point in the game where, mercifully, you can find a limitless storage container, though naturally it's planet-side and hardly the most convenient thing to ever get to. After complaining about it on social media, I already had people defending it, albeit rather unconvincingly. Mostly, I've had rather dismissive responses along the lines of, so it's a Bethesda game.
This is what I hate, right? This is what I hate when you have like genuine criticism about like anything. And it's not necessarily that I think that people are like blindly defending these companies. I don't think that's what's happening. I don't think that people are doing that. It's just that it is such a depressing world that we live in where people are just like, oh, that's the best we're going to get. Just accept it. It's the best we're going to get. Really? Really? You can ask for better. You can ask for better stuff. Like, you can. It's allowed. No one's going to arrest you. Well, actually, I don't know that. So I'm not going to, I'm not going to go on record saying that. Scratch that from the stream. I don't know if you're going to get arrested for asking for better video games. That's probably the exact kind of future that the left wants, isn't it? So, yeah. But, you know what I mean?
Yes, you're right.
You are technically correct. The best kind of correct.
Having to choose between dropping potentially useful items or agonizingly
right, Baldur's Gate looks amazing. It looks so good.
Part and parcel of
and I don't even like D&D.
For 9
looks
decades
great
now. But that's the rub, isn't it? It's been decades without anybody at that fucking studio stopping to ask themselves if what they're doing is actually fun and convenient for the player or a hassle that undermines the rest of the experience, dissuading players from exploring the world and wasting their time to the point of putting them off the game entirely. Like, does anybody at any of these mainstream game studios ever wonder if they're doing something?
That's right, it's the Mule Legal Advice Hour, that's right. This is not legal advice. Nothing I say in this stream is legal advice. I have to be clear about that, extremely clear.
Game better, or because it's just the way they've always done it and they're so fucking myopic they can't imagine a world where they just, you know, take out the bad thing. In my first explorations of its universe, Starfield felt markedly worse about this than any other Bethesda game as far as I experienced. I have never been encumbered so fast in any Elder Scrolls or Fallout game, nor have I been encumbered so many times. Thanks to the weight of resources, the companion inventory limits, and the player character's piss-poor capacity, I've spent so much time fiddling in the menu and had to leave so much potentially lucrative loot behind in just the first few hours that I think I've already eclipsed the amount of times it happened in the entirety of any other Bethesda game. There's a reason why, if you Google it, you can find whole articles talking about encumbrance and how to mitigate it. Putting skill points into carrying capacity instead of actual fun skills feels borderline mandatory, and it barely even helps. Starfield suffers from what I always call skill paring, where you're dumping experience into a skill to get it to the point where it's on par with the starting skill level of a protagonist in a better structured game.
That's so fucking true. She's so right, chat. She's so right, and she should say it. Like, that is like not difficulty, that's like arbitrary nonsense, you know?
Long-ass time of playing, I located a helmet that reduced resource weight by 25%. A fucking godsend. A godsend I felt I'd need to be tethered to if I wanted to do what comes natural with a game of this nature and, you know, loot all the loot that loots at you. Although, in fairness, it wasn't much of a problem because by the time I found that helmet, I'd fucking given up carrying resources.
They describe from what I saw last time.
By the first few hours that I just stopped engaging with entire portions of the game. Things got so bad that I started to get fucking anxious about picking stuff up. Every gun, every helmet, every cup of fucking water could place the dreaded encumbrance warning on the corner of my screen, leading to yet another agonizing trawl through my inventory to balance the weight to value ratio of stuff I'd have just rather taken to emerge.
Right. We're gonna add a helmet so that you can carry more stuff. But, you know, that's realistic, isn't it? It's realistic, so that's why we need encumbrance.
And enjoyed the reward that I fought to obtain. You know what's not rewarding? Blasting a crew of vicious space pirates to smithereens and having to leave all your hard-won treasure behind. Fuck that shit.
Is it really necessary for you to drag around all that?
Like, that is one of the most annoying parts of games like that. Like 7 Days to Die is a great example because the things that you find, like everything that you find in that game is useful. So it's not just like things that you can keep to sell. It's like things that you might need in order to do gameplay, right? Do actual gameplay and shit like that. The helmets have cup holders. The helmets are buckets, of course. Of course, I should have known.
I wouldn't have it any other way, is another defense I've seen more than once. That's literally it, too. People not wanting to change it just because it's how it's always been, and like the developers themselves, they haven't imagined a better world. I've been fucking bewildered by this attitude.
This is capitalist realism, but in video games. That's what's happening.
I even asked one fan why they wouldn't have it any other way, what it is about dumping items every 10 minutes that they find so fun. Their response was simply, I can't tell you why, I just do. Look, I'm not one to judge how you get your amusement. More power to you. I won't say what I want to say in reply as a sign of that respect. Doesn't mean I won't make Reggie say it, though.
What's wrong with you?
Encumbrance in any game is a fucking horrible, annoying, and stupid feature. Now, then, forever. Going all the way back to the first Diablo, a considerably younger Stephanie was frequently frustrated by the constant cries of, I can't carry anymore.
Oh my god. Same in World of Warcraft. Blizzard loved doing that. I remember me and my mum used to make a joke of it. This is going to sound really cute, chat, because it is, but me and my mum used to play World of Warcraft together, and we used to have like dwarf characters. I think she might have been a gnome, actually. I think she was like a gnome mage, and I was a dwarf warrior, and I was like, we would like try and carry stuff, and the dwarf would be like, I can't carry anymore. And it just never got old. It was just the funniest thing to hear. I don't know why, but they love to do that. Fucking Bethesda. Not Bethesda. Well, Bethesda love to do that, but also fucking Blizzard as well.
Like, the whole fucking point of the game is to acquire loot, isn't it? That's Diablo!
Right.
Crawl in dungeon, pick up loot, equip or sell loot, repeat. Putting an arbitrary weight or size limit on your heroes so they spend less time bashing skeletons and more time quietly and irritatedly rearranging their luggage serves to severely de-emphasize the entire reason people play these fucking games. The only exception you could make for encumbrance in a game is survival horror. But even then,
yes.
It's mostly fucking...
See, Descroyer, you were right. You were right. I do absolutely, like, agree that if you are, like, it depends, like, again, like, I think it's what people have been saying in the chat, where it's like, if you have... That was a legendary story. It wasn't even that good. Listen. If you're not used to my streams, there's loads of stuff like that. So if that's not your cup of tea, and you're like, "Is this guy for real? He thinks this is interesting." Just save yourself, because there's going to be loads more of them. Like it's only fucking 8:30. You know, there's going to be another hour at least of stuff like that. So, you know, get used to it. Anyway, what was I saying? Yeah, so, like, again, it's what people have been saying in the chat about, like, how realistic are you going to have it? Because survival horror games are generally quite realistic, aren't they? Like, obviously, like, the horror is the bit that is not realistic. But, well, it depends what game it is. But on top of that, if you have, you know, mechanics whereby it's like, okay, you can't carry so much ammo and stuff, it's like, yeah, absolutely, like, what, you know, have you got a bag, have you got like a bunch of stuff that you could carry like stuff with, have you got loads of pockets, have you got a bandolier, you know, are you just like a guy? Because if you're just like a guy, you've got maybe like 3 pockets max if you've not got a backpack in it. So you could just have like loads of ammo. No, you can't. You're gonna have like maybe 1 pack or 3 packs or something. And then where are you holding all your guns? You know? That's one of the funniest things about, like, you know, Silent Hill. I think Silent Hill is a good example of that. Silent Hill 3, because at one point you just get like a mace, and it's like, what the fuck? Where the fuck is she keeping that? You know? Yeah, I agree. If you attach an interesting mechanic to a realistic aspect, it's good. But yeah, for sure.
Annoying and not actually challenging. Appeal to challenge is another fallacy in game defenses. And honestly, if you're just running back and forth through rooms you've already cleared of monsters to use items because you have to keep ferrying them from your storage box to where they're used, the only challenge comes from trying to stay awake. A horror game from last year, Signalis, took this to a ludicrous extreme, limiting your inventory to 6 items.
That's
the
crazy.
result was, well, running back and forth through the same old rooms, ferrying items, and trying not to be bored out your fucking
so it wasn't
skull.
good.
It was.
I heard that this was quite a good game, but apparently not.
Oh shit, the developer had to address it with a promise to fix it. But even then, they tried to present the inventory limit as a challenge to the player, rather than the pain in the arse it is. Oh, but it's realistic, some will say. It ruins the immersion if you can carry more than 150 pounds. Bitch, shut it. Realism is among the absolute worst defences of anything a video game ever does, ever. Not least a fantasy or sci-fi one with goblins and space dogfights and shit. when even more grounded games like Call of Duty have regenerating health and the
It was good,
player
but that powers
surviving
annoying
stunts that would
Signalis got
obliterate
you.
a normal human body into a fine
Hey,
red
Plink, what's
mist,
going on?
the appeal to realism is absolute fucking garbage and always will be. Besides which, when most of these games let you waste enough skill points to make your carrying capacity
I've been playing lots of Sonic today.
this fallacious bullshit doesn't have a leg to
Good to see
stand
him.
on.
Good to see him
I
pop
do
up in the
not play
video.
a
You know.
sci-fi game where I fight space pirates and build robots to cultivate moon gardens because I want to have a realistic time. I'm not out of my fucking mind like that.
Why are you working on the assumption that the gas is just going to be like at atmospheric pressure? Like the canister that the gas goes in has weight, right? And the gas, if you compress it down, like that's more gas in the same amount of space. So it's denser, and the denser something is, right, the more heavy the same size chunk of it will be. So I don't think that it's unreasonable for the helium to have a weight.
Just put it in fucking balloons.
There are easy fixes, many of which have been implemented in games that imaginatively solve.
Like, if there's any like argument for making games more simple and not realistic, Sonic Mania is right there. I've been playing that all weekend, chat, in my downtime, and it has just been so fun to go back to that game and be like, oh my gosh, this game is so good. And like the DLC, I bought that like fucking 4 years ago or something because it was just like, this is just the best fucking game. But they made that game in like 2016 or some shit. It's crazy. No, they didn't. They made it in like 2018. Anyway, it seems like it was fucking ages ago. But you know, it's just so good. I've been playing Bugsnax and lamenting the lack of realism.
Problems rather than regurgitate them as part
No,
of a
you
flawlessly
haven't.
obeyed blueprint. Torchlight, for example, gives you a pet.
Right,
that you
exactly,
can send back to
Discrotty,
town
yeah.
to sell all your surplus loot for you. It's not only a fun way to alleviate the hassle and the potential to leave money on the floor, it works really well to reinforce a fondness for your pet. Not only improving the encumbrance mechanic, but actually using it to inform other aspects of the game. It's like they thought about this for more than 5 seconds. Of course, you don't need a dog to lighten your burden. Baldur's Gate 3, the quality of which has honestly made Bethesda's bullshit routine so much harder to tolerate this time, allows you to automate.
Right, that's the thing. Like every single like argument about anything to do with this, yeah, is just out the window because Baldur's Gate, they spent so long working on that game to make it the best that it could possibly be, right? The best that it could possibly be, and everybody loves it. Everybody fucking loves it, even people who don't normally play games like that. Hey Frozen Basalt, good to see you. Long time no see. Imagine Pac-Man, but you slow down from eating too many pellets. If you eat more than one ghost, you die. Yes, imagine that.
Automatically send any item you wish
and Elden Ring as well.
to your camp, where it'll be kept in a chest that has room for everything you need and can still be accessed pretty much any time you like. Now,
great,
I
good.
have some criticisms of Baldur's Gate 3's rather unwieldy gear and item menus overall, but at least they did something about encumbrance, and that's besides ensuring that you can carry enough stuff to
Like I feel like people who like D&D, they love all this. You know, I know that like Steph is like talking about the how it looks bad and stuff, and like yeah, I agree, but I think like one thing that I've learned about people who love D&D is that it doesn't matter how like annoying something is to like other people, like they love it, and you know what? That's great. That's great. Good for yous. You know.
where it doesn't come up half as much. I'm not joking at all when I say that in my 60 plus hours of BG3, I've been encumbered less
As a
than
D&D
half
player,
as
you're
much
right.
as
Yeah,
have
I
in
know
Starfield,
what
with
you're
a
all like. I know exactly what you're all like.
fraction of the playtime. You could also
You fucking freaks.
say not have resources weigh anything if you want the player.
What do they do? What's the word? In brackets, good, positive, the opposite of derogatory. I don't know. What is it? Oh my god. Fond, amorous, lovingly. Yeah, in brackets, lovingly. You freaks, in brackets, lovingly.
to pick up loads of resources? Let me tell you, nothing is more ridiculous than going over your carry limit because you picked up too much helium. Yes, helium. I have, in fact, been encumbered multiple times already because I picked up too much gas, i.e. glorified air.
Hey, Solar Juice, how's it going?
So much for appeal to realism. The weight of resources, which can either be heavy for individual items or become heavy after accruing dozens of the same thing,
Lovingly is good, isn't it? Yeah,
because,
lovingly.
at least in the beginning, you don't really know what resources you need, and you'll be loath to leave anything behind in case you do need
Soph!
it. I mean, the game presents itself.
Soph, aren't you on like a coach or something right now? Everybody, please go follow Soph. She's great. I love her. You should love her too. What is going on? What is going on with my bot? Oh, fuck me. Hang on a minute, chat. I've got to sort this out. Something's going on. Is it this? Do I have to do this? Let me try that again. What is happening? Let me just hold up. Oh! You can't see that. Wait! Oh, shit. Oh, I just did the wrong thing. Right, don't worry, chat. You just watched the video.
Like No Man's
Everybody
Sky
go follow
from the
Sophie.
outset. So at first I did No Man's Sky
Just
shit.
click on Sophie's name. Everyone in here follows Sophie. She's great. We literally just got on the coach. Hell yeah. I just completely fucked this up. Yeah, I love API error. It's very good.
Drilling for ore until I realised I can't carry any ore. Though that might be reflective of some of Starfield's other problems, its terrible presentation and piss-poor explanation of its own concepts. Given how messy and overwhelming the crafting and building and resource management is overall, one still struggles to tell the useful shit from the just plain shit after hours of playing. At any rate, I've honestly just given up on it now. I was never into the building aspects of Fallout 4 anyway, and while crafting gear mod seems cool, my starting background was geared towards commerce.
Why is it doing that, chat? Have I got any other streamers in the chat to explain to me why that's happening? Why can't I shout out Sophie? This is bullshit. This is fucking bullshit, gang. Right, what you do is you go... Fuck, what... You click on Sophie's name and then you go to Sophie's channel and you follow her. That's what you do. There it is. How did you make the bot? I didn't fucking make it. I just did it with Streamlabs. It's just Streamlabs chatbot, innit? It's fucked. It's always fucking up. It's always fucking everything up. It's fucking shit. Anyway, there's a link to Sophie's channel. Go and follow her. There it is. If you don't know, everyone, Sophie's just coming back from one of the most based weekends in the world. She went to the ZAD, if you all remember when we spoke to JJ and Issa from the ZAD. Very, very cool, autonomous, anarchist commune. It's so cool. I can't wait to hear all about it. I've been getting little updates in the Red Planet secret server for the hosts. It's going to be really, really cool. Somewhere in the system has logged you out and lost its auth key, so it needs to log back in. Okay, I'm going to try this again. I'm going to try and do the bot again.
No trouble just buying the things I want. While I was initially interested in doing more crafting this time around, honestly, I can't be fucked anymore. I just can't be fucked. Not bothering has really helped with the encumbrance, though I
can't wait to
still
tell
get
everything
bogged
about
down in stuff
me, everything
if I
about
dare
it. Yeah,
to
it's gonna be
explore
so
a
good.
planet too thoroughly. Of course, you can have a dog, you can have a camp, you can have weightless resources, but there's one quick fix that won't unbalance the game, won't make it less fun, and will actively, explicitly improve the user
Special and
experience.
unique ZAD present?
Just
I can't
don't
wait.
Fucking have encumbrance. Just don't have it. Sorry,
What if we
but
kissed
this
in the
is
ZAD?
even
I know,
more black
imagine.
and white than the hotly contested weapon durability debate. For all the
Sophie,
talk
that is
of how
extremely
weapon
exciting. I can't
durability
wait. Say hi
forces
to
you
Nat for me.
experiment and has a whole game balanced round it, I defy you. I defy
Right,
you
will that
as
work
I
now?
defy 1,000 dead gods to
No.
tell me how
No idea. I've reauthorized the streamer, which is me, and I've also reauthorized the Twitch bot, so I have no idea. It handles like other commands absolutely fine. Like, that's fine. So I think it's what Gobs has said. API error is usually the bot not talking to Twitch. Streamlabs might have something glitchy. Yeah, it's going to be something to do with that. Mulebot is having a mule day. It is, isn't it? That's exactly what's going on. That is exactly what's going on.
Moving encumberment from any Bethesda game, from any RPG.
Everybody go follow
planet
Gobs, they're amazing.
Would make the experience less enjoyable. And by that, I mean explain it to me in a way that makes sense and isn't some vague
Oh, it'll be a
preference
Twitch
rooted
thing
in
then.
such apparent masochism that
Oh,
even
fuck.
someone
I'm such an idiot. I was literally just like, everybody... Fuck it. Fuck it.
Where's our
Fuck it.
fucking collar thinks you're hurting yourself too much? Oh, and don't try to fob me or anyone else off with, it's not that bad. Yes, it is. It's factually that bad. Encumbrance in games is
There you
bad.
go. Everybody go follow Gobs.
Technically, that's my opinion, but let's face it, it's borderline objective.
The bot's having a mule day. Mulebot's having a mule day. Mule's having a mule day.
Nobody has ever seen some loot in a game and
Oh my
said,
god, I'm a pirate. How are you doing? Welcome to the stream.
you know, it would be more fun if I couldn't carry this. Nobody has ever demanded encumbrance be added to a game, just like weapon durability. It's something people retroactively defend when it's included,
Yes.
but never request when it isn't. Anybody who
true.
claims otherwise is making shit up.
Running when encumbered will quickly drain your oxygen. You see, that's the most bullshit thing, right? That's the most bullshit thing, I think. Like, being over encumbered can kill you. Fuck off. Fuck right off. Not cool. No. No way.
It's the extra poo that makes all the difference.
Country roads take me home to the place where I belong.
West Virginia, mountain mama, take me home. Country roads, brilliant.
Thank God for me. Yoo-hoo! Wahoo! Yee-hoo! Oh. Nobody here. It's just
Hell yeah.
you and me. It's
That's
where
right,
I
chat.
wanna be, but I hardly know.
Everybody go follow Steph. We love Stephanie Sterling. Let me get the link. It's coming. There it is. There it is. Everybody go like, subscribe, watch the video again in a closed tab. But now we've got the main event of the stream that I forgot existed. I knew there was a reason that I wasn't worrying about the stream today, chat. I knew there was a reason. And the reason is, and I've got to set this up a little bit. I've got to set the scene for this. But basically, last week, my mum, told you about my mum. You know, she reads the Times, she votes for the Tories, and all this stuff, but she's actually like very good and very based in a lot of ways, right? Which annoys me that she votes for the Tories, because she just can't see that doing that is going to lead to all sorts of terrible things. Anyway, you know, it goes against some of the things that she believes, basically. But anyway, she, I know I've got a mum, imagine that, so crazy, absolutely crazy. But she spoke to me last week, and I can't remember how this came up. I can't remember, but she goes, "Oh, one of those misogynists that you're always telling me about." And I said, "What?" And she goes, "You know, you're always talking about the manosphere guys," because I do talk about that stuff to her, because that's one of the best ways for me and her to connect, because she is very much about women's rights, right? She loves all that. And no, she's not a TERF. You know, she's very like pro-trans actually, which is interesting. Because again, you know, just wouldn't expect someone who votes for the Tories to be like that. But of course, I think a lot of people just make their voting decisions and then see how things like sort of like play out in the world, and they disagree with it, and they don't quite understand how these things connect, right? But let's face it, even if she voted Labour at the minute, she would still be voting for an overwhelmingly transphobic party. So anyway, we connect in that way when we chat and stuff about politics. And she goes, "It's one of the manosphere guys." And I'm like, "What are you talking about? Like, what are you actually on about?" And she says, list off some names. List off some names. And I'm like, I have no idea. So I'm saying Andrew Tate, and she's like, no. And I'm saying like Ben Shapiro, and she goes, yeah, no, but on those lines. And I'm like, I can't think. I couldn't think of like all the horrible misogynist people that exist in the world, right? So then I googled Manosphere, guys, and I was looking at the PC, and then I went, oh, Jordan Peterson, and she went, yes, that's the one. So naturally, I was like, okay, what about him? And she goes, it's really funny. There's this journalist in the Times who has tore him a new one. And so I was like, okay, can you show me this article? Can you show me this article or something? I don't know. And she told me which article it was. There's a paywall in the Times, so I was like, can you do me a favor? Can you like screenshot it? And she says, yeah, I'll have to do it on your stepdad's phone because I don't have it. I don't have the subscription, but he's got it. So I'll get the thing and I'll screenshot it all and I'll send it over to you. And I said, thanks, Mum. I'll do that as my content on the stream. So here it is, chat. Curated by DJ Mum. Very, very interesting article written by someone called Johanna Thomas-Core. So I don't know anything about this person's politics, but I know that she writes for the Times. That's always a bad sign. This person is probably transphobic, so no, we don't have to give it to her or anything like that. But, in a world where the right are always talking about how the left is going to eat itself, I think it's very funny when the right eats itself. And this is, again, like an example of like right-wing women being really annoyed with how right-wing men are extremely sexist. So in fact, are they really that right-wing after all? The jury's still out. So let's take a look at this. I'm gonna change the title real quick. The right eats itself. Times edition. Okay. And then we'll have the sub off Twitch command in there. There we go. Will this work? Yeah, that'll work. Stream Elements is fine. Stream Elements is fine. Apparently. So, anyway, let's go to the next scene. So there it is. So yeah, content warning for like probably a bit of misogyny or whatever here. But so this article is called "What Happened When I Wrote a Book Review About Jordan Peterson." Right? So this person is written literary editor Johanna Thomas-Core was surprised to find out on social media that she was among those lavishing praise on the controversial author, except that wasn't quite what she had written. I think it is actually just a photo of the phone. Yeah, it's not a screenshot. She has actually just taken a photo of the phone, which is very sweet. Bless her, it sounds like my mum a bit. She's super educated and base, but only has a baseline understanding of culture war stuff. Occasionally asks me for random clarification on stuff. Yeah, kind of similar. Liberals always fail to understand that twisted economic policies are bigoted. Right, exactly. So anyway, let's read this. Jordan Peterson, the Canadian psychologist turned Old Testament-inspired influencer, is a man who loves the truth. In fact, he can't get enough of it. Rule 8 of his multi-million selling self-help book 12 Rules for Life is tell the truth or at least don't lie. So that's a good... It's good that this article is starting with that, isn't it, chat? It is actually good that is how this is starting, because that proves it's going to be quite funny, isn't it? It's going to be laden with inconsistencies and hypocritical examples of Jordan Peterson being wrong. So this is great. I'm very excited for this. When he was interviewed on Tucker Carlson today in 2019, it was under the title, Jordan Peterson Tells the Truth. I love how this is being set up already. In a video posted to social media last week, Peterson faces down the camera and elaborates on his grand theme. If you decide to lie, you're making the assumption that that obtaining an undeserved advantage will pay off over the long run. All things considered, but the chickens come home to roost, and virtually everyone knows that. You can imagine my surprise then. When I learnt via social media of a controversy regarding the paperback edition of Peterson's latest book, Beyond Order, 12 More Rules for Life, whereby damning reviews had somehow become lavish praise. Oh, amazing. Perfuming the well, clearly setting us up to realize what a great person JP is. I know. This is great. This is great, chat. I love this. I love this so much. On the back cover, readers will find plaudits from James Marriott of The Times, A Philosophy of the Meaning of Life, Suzanne Moore in The Telegraph, Wisdom Combined with Good Advice, and Johanna Thomas Core writing in The New Statesman, where I was a contributor. Apparently, I found the book genuinely enlightening and often poignant. Here is a father figure who takes his audience seriously. And here is a grander narrative about truth being order and chaos that stretches back to the dawn of human consciousness. What an endorsement. Only I seem to remember finding the book silly, dishonest, a little mad and misogynistic, and going to some length, more than 2,000 words in fact, to explain why. Chat, this is great. This is so good. This is so fucking good. You know, because you could see what the publishers are desperate to do. Like, they're desperate to find any kind of editor that would, like, you know, review him in a positive light. So the other two, it's possible that the other two quotes on the back of the book are real quotes. It's possible, because there are people who are so brain poisoned with what they believe about life and women and minorities in general, that they would think that anything that Jordan Peterson says is good. But it's quite funny, isn't it, that they've changed what she said so much. I don't know what she said originally, but apparently we're going to find out. So she says, naturally, I went back to my review just to make sure I hadn't written it under the influence of strong drugs. And sure enough, I was pretty damning. I used words such as stodgy, lumpy, unnerving, sententious, bitter, cowardly, blind, and bizarre to describe its contents. Overall, I found it funny, highlighting the comic distance between Peterson's professed mania for order, truth, and valor, and the mealy-mouthed occlusions of his arguments. Was I misquoted? Well, not exactly. When I was reviewing the book, I was mindful that in the cage fights of social media, Peterson's critics, and fans actually, frequently take his words out of context. I was extra careful not to do so myself, and sincerely wanted to get to the bottom of why so many people are into YouTube videos of a cranky professor invoking dragons and telling them to tidy their rooms. Wonderful words for Jordy Peets. Peterson hates pronouns. He's going to hate adjectives after this. Right. Serious book critics actually hate this in the Rabin trials. I think it would be really funny and based if Johanna Thomas Core sued Jordan Peterson. I think that would be extremely funny, because he's probably in quite a money scenario right now. Like, you know, for want of a better explanation, he's probably feeling not very cash money at the minute. You know, being as accurate as I can to that particular adjective. Sorry, I just for some reason like a load of fucking... Sorry, chat. You know what? I'm not even going to go in this. I just had a biological malfunction with how absurd this whole situation is. But anyway. Let's get back to this. This was the context of the father figure quote. I was trying to capture his appeal to his fans, not declaring myself to be one. The genuinely enlightening part was a little caveat between dismissals. There were bits of the book that contained wisdom, sure. However, there was a massive but in the next paragraph. And what do you know? On closer inspection, the Times Review actually called it a bonkers philosophy. The Telegraph called it hokey wisdom. So even those two reviews weren't true either. Incredible. Absolutely incredible. Peterson's fanboys on social media will doubtless see this as another example of Peterson owning the libs. I have no interest in that culture war, nor am I naive about the dark arts of literary endorsements as laid out in the book Blurb Your Enthusiasm by Hold up, by the copywriter Louise Wilder, who admits that he has invented quotes from well-known authors who didn't have time to read the book they apparently consider genuinely enlightening. As a reviewer, I'm always mindful that praise for an excellent sentence can easily become excellent. The Sunday Times. So, there you go. Look at that, chat. Incredible. I mean, that's not quite the end, actually. It's not quite the end. She goes on to write, of course, most people in publishing are aware of the industry's log-rolling practices, but many feel a line has been irreversibly crossed. Well, I don't yet know how it happened. I suspect the industry will have to review its practices. This is just lib-brain nonsense now, I think. While I don't yet know how it happened, review its practices, one award-winning writer I was speaking to last week, whose own book cover is covered with superlatives from fellow authors and reviewers, believes the Peterson case could end what they described as a gentleman's agreement in publishing, that is, taking a reviewer's words to endorse their books in return for having our verdict accurately represented. I do care about the book buyer standing in Waterstones reading the back cover of that respectable-looking orange paperback and thinking, wow, what an extraordinary consensus of opinion. I think I'll buy this for our Rob. Alan Lane is not some rackety pamphleteering operation. It is the leading publisher of serious nonfiction in the UK and takes its names from founder of Penguin Books, the man who bravely faced down the censors at the infamous Lady Chatterley's Lover trial. Is that what you were talking about, Discrot? In an age when anyone with a social media account could string together anyone's words to mean almost anything, people look to those reassuring orange paperbacks as a source of authority. How much braver and bolder it would have been to have interspersed those laudatory quotes. There were some, in fact, from The Guardian with a big fat bonkers. Will I be more careful in the future? I will. Like most reviewers I know, I'm at pains to be open-minded, imaginative, and fair in my response to books. I like to highlight redeeming qualities and to credit readers with some intelligence. In my Peterson review, I chose not to fall into the trap of being triggered by the contents of the book, but rather to damn him with gentle irony, comparing him to the tragicomic hero of a Nabokov modern novel, which, to be clear, does not mean I'm comparing him to Nabokov. Chat, did she just call him a pedo? I can't quite figure out what this bit is, because I know Nabokov, he did Lolita, right? That's what, and like in Lolita, the quote-unquote hero of the book is a pedo. So, I'm not quite sure what's being said there, but anyway, very interesting. She's insinuating something there. However, maybe in future I need to be clearer. Beyond Order is an awful, mad book. You shouldn't buy it. And then there's a related article second, which is Jordan Peterson and the Art of the Dodgy Book blurb. So, you know, what we're seeing here, chat, is an example of, conservative people who are not taking any more shit from Jordan Peterson anymore. Because he really has, like, jumped the shark in his Willy Wonka phase, hasn't he? You know, you'll all remember that last year when I couldn't handle just how funny it was that Sam Seder had coined the phrase Jordan Peterson's mental breakdown enters some kind of Willy Wonka phase. Very, very funny. But that was, as I just said, last year. So the question is Jordan Peterson still in his Willy Wonka phase? Or, you know, is he, I don't know, are people still happy with him? I think that he's ending up going down a bad path where he's not going to have many allies left, I don't think. Here's a fun fact about fantasy from America in the late 70s, early 80s. Those authors would constantly praise each other's books. Thus, George R.R. Martin has his names on so many crappy fantasy books, probably because they had a deal with each other. That is funny as fuck. He's entered his Willy Wonka phase. I mean, he entered his Willy Wonka phase last year. He's just not, you know? He's fallen off, yeah. Have you seen the Willy Wonka Snowpiercer videos? Highly recommend. Yeah, well, now I'm never going to watch them. Nothing to do with you, my pirate, but it's a huge thing. You know, I should have a command for like recommendations, or have I? Recommendations? Recommend? No, it's not there. Yeah, if someone recommends me something to do or watch or listen to or read or something like that, it's not happening. I'm so sorry. It's just the way my brain works. It's ADHD and ODD, so nothing to do with you, my pirate. But yeah, it's that's why I have in the Discord the content suggestion for stream thing, because what will actually happen is I will go into that channel, yeah, on a day like today when I've not quite understood that I am a streamer and I've forgotten about it, and I actually don't have any content for the stream. So this is why what you do in there is you just put a link in there and you don't say anything else with it. And that's how you actually actively, properly recommend stuff to me. Otherwise, I just won't watch it, unfortunately. But Steph's done it. Steph's done it fantastically. By the way, thanks, Mum, for that content. Really appreciate it. I don't know. Sometimes Mum watches my streams. So, thanks. Appreciate that. Be knocking around. Anyway, Catgirl Steph recommended something that I would have probably watched anyway. And everyone's going to be really excited because it's been a long time since I've done one of these. It's been a long time since I've done one of these. Very, very, very privileged to bring you this month or last month's positive leftist news. That's right. That's right, chat. Okay. Now, not much to warn about in these videos. Not much to warn about because they are overwhelmingly good and fun. So, let's go ahead, change the title to something more appropriate. See, everyone's buzzing. Everyone's so excited. Everyone's so excited. It's PLN. We're doing it, chat. It's popping off. Let's fucking go. That's the title. PLN, let's go. Hey, Carpe Packs, how's it going? Welcome in. Good to see you. Yeah, no doomerism here. No doomerism today, chat. It's not happening. It's not fucking happening. Hopium and positive vibes only. There you go. It's time. It's time. Let's check out some positive leftist news. Are you ready, chat? You ready to kill that doom pill? Because I know I am. All right. Let's take a little look. Everybody go follow Carpe Packs. By the way, I can't shout you out, Carpe. I don't know why. There's something wrong with the Twitch API thing. But yeah, I'm going to try and give you a manual shout out. Finally. Sing along, chat. Positive leftist news.
With Second Thought.
Hey
with
there.
Second Thought.
I'm JT from Second Thought. Being a socialist can get you down sometimes. That's why it's so important to take a few minutes every once in a while to focus on the good things. If you can look past all the horrible stuff going on, there are always dedicated people putting in the work to build a better future. Let's look at some recent examples. The Ganawake Bay restoration is a powerful example of the importance of indigenous governance. Ganawake was once a small archipelago of lush natural islands, but it became a single piece of land after sludge from the river and blasted rock was dumped onto the archipelago by construction.
Oh, that's right, Gobs.
Years ago. To make matters worse, in 1959, Canada and the United States cut off the community's access to the river, replacing the natural waterway with a narrow canal for large cargo ships, and expropriating the 1,262 acres
time I've ever
for a
done
mass
that
industrial project.
in my
This
stream.
was one of the most traumatic events that the community experienced.
This
For
is fucked, by the
decades,
way.
The island was rocky and arid, but the Ganawake Environment Protection Office stepped in, initiating a community-driven, indigenous-led land conservation and restoration project.
Yes.
Now the bay is a peaceful oasis, complete with a protected nesting area for turtles and a habitat for the at-risk bank swallows migrating through the area.
Chat, I got this fucking comment. I got this fucking comment on my fucking video. On my doomerism video. The other day. Let me see if I can find it. I always get the most insane comments on my doomerism video. Right? It's fucking ridiculous, right? I'm just gonna show you this real quick because it's just so fucking annoying. Just really stresses me out. Okay. So this person thought they were being so fucking smart. They thought they were being so fucking smart. They basically said, I don't know if you can see that. You can't fucking see it, can you? Hang on. Right. This person thought they were being so fucking smart. We could also stop capitalism and still experience devastating climate change. I don't think there's one point in the video where I say that climate change isn't going to happen, right? The barriers to fighting climate change don't just involve corporate greed. It involves a lot of NIMBYism. Witness the opposition to a wind farm in Norway by the Sami people who are supported in their efforts by none other than Greta Thunberg. What are you talking about? So I just replied, capitalist governments constructing infrastructure on indigenous land is bad. What is your point? It's more than possible for a post-capitalist society that supports indigenous sovereignty to exist. Like, so we just shouldn't bother because indigenous people don't want infrastructure built on their land. You're talking about one example. You're talking about one example. It's just so absurd. Anyway, I just thought I'd bring that up. It's just like completely ridiculous to imply that, like, you know, that like we shouldn't do anything. We shouldn't do anything because, you know, sometimes people don't want stuff. This dude be like, I've got one example, checkmate lefty. It's like so stupid.
Lynn Jacobs, the former director of KEPO, said she's already noticed how many more species there are now.
Also, hi Kumatori, welcome in.
Flying over the marsh by the hundreds. Cody Diabo, council chief responsible for the environment portfolio at the Mohawk Council of Ganawake.
Yeah, literally. I knew there was going to be Norwegians in the chat who would say stuff about that. Like Discrotta says, Norway's oppressed Sami people for so long and it's important to help them with their rights. Yeah, literally. You're talking about like one area of land that the Sami people have like their sovereignty in. Maybe they don't even have sovereignty there. Maybe they don't even have agency in what happens on their land. Like, that's kind of what it sounds like with this one particular instance of stuff, right? And, you know, Norway could just buy... Norway, the government, or, you know, that want to build this wind farm, they could just do it somewhere else, couldn't they? Because Norway's massive, isn't it? It's fucking huge.
He said... hearing the birds, hearing the insects, and just being able to see visually how...
Also, as well, I'm glad you brought that up, Prince. Comparing opposing building on indigenous land to NIMBYism is such bullshit. Right, because NIMBYism is like a ridiculously individualized thing that happens in like suburban white neighborhoods. Overwhelmingly. Do you know what I mean? Not in my backyard is not the same as you have taken so much from us, stop taking anymore. You know what I mean? Like, absolutely absurd. I'm glad you said that, Prince, because that bit completely slipped my mind.
Beautiful it is. This is a good day. Remember, folks, it's land back here and everywhere. On the 26th of July, tech workers from Amazon and Google demonstrated at the annual Amazon Web Services Summit in New York City. Holding pro-worker, pro-Palestine solidarity signs with anti-capitalist sentiments, workers disrupted the keynote speech, shouting, "Free, free Palestine, no tech for Israel's crimes."
Let's fucking go.
Some of the signs read, "Israeli apartheid genocide funded by the US," and "Amazon profits off of Israel's military occupation." The effort...
Another reason why you should sub off Twitch. Sub off Twitch, chat. Means that 100% of the money goes to me, your boy Donkus Jonkus Monkus, and not to 50% doesn't go to Amazon, you know, for supporting war crimes and genocide.
It was part of their continuing 2-year No Tech for Apartheid campaign intended to make tech companies like Google and Amazon stop profiting off Israeli apartheid and settler colonial violence.
Hell yeah.
Free, free Palestine.
You know it.
Over 800 academics and cultural personalities around the world signed a letter that calls the Israeli occupation of Palestine apartheid.
Exactly.
The letter, titled "The Elephant in the Room," highlights the direct link between Israel's recent attack on the judiciary and its illegal occupation of millions of Palestinians in the occupied Palestinian territories. Signatories call for numerous actions, particularly from the US Jewish community, including support for the Israeli protest movement, support for human rights organizations defending Palestine, a commitment to revolutionize the curricula for Jewish young people, and for leaders in the US to do what is needed to end the occupation. This letter is significant since it's garnered support from a large number of Jewish intellectuals. Professor Omer Bartov, who teaches Holocaust and genocide studies in the US, said that the broad inclusion of so many academics representing a stunningly broad spectrum of distinguished Jewish voices indicates a watershed moment in American Jewish views about Israel, and a new willingness by public figures, reflecting the sentiments of the younger generation, to honestly criticize Israel's policies.
Yeah, they're getting more and more prevalent chat, anti-Israel opinions. You know, like most people nowadays, like I think even in most imperial core countries, people are like, yeah, Israel needs to like stop shooting Palestinian children. Do you know what I mean? Like at the very least. And Israel just straight up like deny that happens. They're just like, no, we don't do that. It's never happened. What are you talking about? But there's so much evidence of it that people just can't help but be like, oh yeah, by the way, I heard about this. I heard that Israel was doing this shit, completely fucked up. You know, it's only a matter of time before like, I guess like a more solid boycott, divestment, and sanctions thing starts happening, because like Palestine Action is getting like more and more popular. There are like loads of like normies. I want to use like normies in inverted quotes there, because it's just people who are like quite like liberal, who are following like Palestine Action, especially on Instagram now. It's really funny. Palestine Action recently here in Manchester this weekend actually like went to libs. Well, I don't know. It's hard to say, Carpe. But like they went to I think it's like an office where Elbit has like had a lot of financial dealings, or like it's a company that does connecting between like financing and what Elbit does. Elbit Systems, if you don't know, they're people who like, they're a company who like manufacture drones and they advertise their military weapons grade produce as being tested on Palestinian children. It's completely fucked up. Okay, Mapira, no worries. Thanks so much for stopping by. Yeah, so like they went and occupied their buildings, and the CEO or one of the members of the board came out of his office and like started assaulting people, like pushing people and like fucking slapping people's phones out of their hands and shit. And on that post, there are like people saying like, oh, I don't like what Elbit's doing, but is this really necessary? And it's like, okay, so we're getting like a lot of people who are thinking like, oh, this kind of direct action is a bit too much. And they're slowly becoming like radicalized in the comments. You can see it happening. They're saying like, yo, this guy is financing the murdering and genocide of Palestinians. Like, you've followed us this far. Are you joking that this is where you draw the line? Think about what's going on, you know what I mean? So it's quite interesting, like, how broad the appeal of Palestine Action is getting. So very, very cool. Solidarity to all of the activists at Palestine Action. And there are also loads and loads of examples. I think we're going to talk about it on Red Planet next week, recently, of judges releasing people from prison or releasing people from custody, saying like, we can't prosecute these people because Elbit's crimes are way too obviously in direct opposition to the UN human rights ruling on Israel, right? So that's the reason that like some judges have been like to taking these cases against activists out of court. So it's just absolutely incredible. Anyway, I've just realized that Just Johnny gave me a blue fella a while ago, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that. Thanks, Johnny. Appreciate you.
Ontario steelworkers of the United Steelworkers Union ended a 6-week strike at National Steel Car after winning significant contractual gains.
Yeah, let's fucking go.
87.4% of union members ratified the 3-year collective agreement that will provide a 13% wage increase plus a $1,000 signing bonus.
Let's go.
A $1 per hour wage increase for skilled trades members, improved pension plans, as well as increased health and safety measures.
Nice.
Miles Sullivan, USW District 6 Director, stated, "I want to applaud every one of the 1,475 steelworkers at National Steel Car. Your win at the picket line and at the bargaining table sends a message that workers will no longer stand by and get left behind as corporations and CEOs rake in profits. It also echoes the demands of thousands of workers across the country who have had enough of greedy and negligent employers.
Hell yeah.
Who are fighting back and taking action.
Absolutely.
The United Steelworkers have won the hearts of many unions.
You know what I think about all the time, chat? You know what I think about all the time? So recently, this weekend, let's just do a little bit of story time. Let's just do a little tiny bit of story time, right? While I'm having this blue fella moment, yeah? It's in relation to this. So this weekend, I found out that the place that I go to get my like gardening equipment, so like my pots, my compost, all that kind of stuff, it's a place called Wilko in the UK, right? And it has been not doing well, quote unquote, not doing well for some time, yeah? And so that basically means it's not in profit, so it's gone into administration because it's not making enough money, basically. So they're selling all the stuff at like a really cheap price. Basically, go to Wilko. Still got those gnats? No, the gnats have been gone for a long time. I'll do a proper gardening update soon. Don't worry, chat. It's gonna happen. But essentially, if you want some cheap like gardening stuff or just cheap houseware stuff in general, get down to Wilko if you're in the UK at the minute, because they're selling stuff for real cheap. I got like 5 or 6 massive pots for like 13 quid. It was pretty fucking good. I'm not gonna lie. But what I couldn't help but think was, how much does the CEO of Wilko's make? Right? So I googled it. Excuse me. It's completely insane. Right? Look at this. I'll show you. I just can't believe it. So if you look here, this was in 2021. Nick Wilkinson made $4 million in total compensation as executive director, chief executive officer at Dunelm Group PLC in 2021. So Wilko is part of the Dunelm Group. Yeah. $1 million was received as total cash, $2 million was received as equity, and 95 grand was received as pension and other forms of compensation. Some people won't even see 95 grand in their entire life as a pension. Yeah? Be lucky if they get half that. And this guy got it in 1 year. Yeah? $5.6 million US. Right. So when you think about that, you think about like, okay, well, all right, he's the CEO. He's one of the CEOs of this big group. You know what I mean? Or he is like the CEO of this big group. This doesn't even count all the people who are on the board with him. This is just one guy. Right? This is just one guy. Yeah? 95k is probably my student loan by now. Yeah, me too. Imagine earning that in a year for your pension. Yeah? And this motherfucker's just like, well, I guess we'll just have to let one of the businesses go into administration, and all those people who had paying jobs, they'll just have to be made redundant. Probably without redundancy pay. I won't take a pay cut. Who needs 4 million a year, chat? Fuck it, who needs 1 million a year? It's insane. It's completely absurd. Right? Completely absurd. So when I think about all these companies that are going bust and they're going out of circulation or whatever, they're going into administration, 90% of the problem is the CEOs, isn't it? That's what it is. Most of the time, the problem is the CEOs. And I also think about, so recently, my gym membership, not been to the gym in 3 months, have a chat, because of this fatigue that I've been dealing with. Yeah? obviously I'm just getting into going to the gym mode. Oh my God, I didn't even tell you, chat. I went to the gym on Friday and I was completely fine. There's another thing I did this week that I didn't fucking tell anyone. Anyway. So, you know, I've been thinking about, oh, great, I get to go back to the gym now. And I'm not going to be able to do what I did before, but it's really exciting because it's like, oh my God, I get to go back to the gym, right? Which is something that I've needed for such a long time. No worries, Discrot. Thank you so much for being here. Really appreciate it. Really appreciate you being here. Have a good night. And the gym membership have recently said, right, and it's a bit of a kick in the teeth, yeah? The gym group has said, well, we do pride ourselves on being like the cheapest gym in the city, whichever city that you're in. But we have to put up the prices. But we are actually still the cheapest gym in the city. So they put up their membership by £4 a month. Now, that might not sound like a lot, yeah? But when you're like me and you don't earn a lot of fucking money, yeah, it is a lot. It's annoying. And in fact, what's even more annoying is just how much of a lie that is. Because Pure Gym, their memberships start at £18 a month, yeah? But now, the gym group, it's £50 a year, what it's gone up by. The gym group, they're starting at £20 a month. So it's a lie. They're not the cheapest fucking gym in the city. By a long shot. They're actually now one of the more expensive ones. So it's so ridiculous. So what we're going to do again, we're going to do, and this is going to piss me off, chat. John Trehane takes back. Who is the CEO of Gym Group PLC? Will or salary? How do I find this out, chat? I can't find it. Unionize the gym goers. How do I find out how much he's making? They never disclose how much they're going to make in these like articles where it's like Will Orr takes over at the gym group. Maybe by cheapest they mean they have the lowest overhead costs. Yeah, that's probably what it is. Can I find this on his LinkedIn? How do I find your fucking salary, dickhead? By cheapest, they mean in how it feels, not how much it costs. That's another thing. That's another fucking thing, yeah? Like, they legitimately are asking for £20 a month for one of the smallest gyms that doesn't even run properly when it's at like maximum capacity. There are people waiting for machines like all the time, and it's not because people are hogging them, it's because there's too many people in the gym, right? It's tiny. But Pure Gym, which is what I'm gonna fucking have to switch to up the fucking road, is huge. It's got loads of fucking room and space, and there's hardly anyone in it. It's so absurd. The guy's name is Will Orr. So, like this. Anyway, if someone can find out how much. But the annoying thing is that they're saying that they have to, like, charge more money to the membership because they're not in profit. But again, it's going to be a case of, well, how much money are you earning a year, bro? How much money are you actually earning a year? But it says that the last guy who was running it had a salary of £33,000. No, sorry, £330,000. And total remuneration, £500,000 in the year before, in 2021. So it's like, how much money do you need to be earning, bro? Like, do you really need to be earning that much dough? You don't. You fucking don't. You could, like, maybe make that, like, 100 grand a year, put the rest of that dough into the company, right? all that revenue that you're spending on yourself and the other board members, put that into the fucking company. Do you know what I mean? Anyway, listen, I said I wasn't going to do any doomerism stuff, but I've just literally done like 2 horrible stories about like how companies are run and shit like that. Anyway. We're going to continue with the positive leftist news. Yeah? We're doing it.
Organizations in Canada, as they consistently show up in solidarity with other movements, and even anti-fascist demonstrations, as unions should.
Hell yeah!
Rock on, steelworkers. Solidarity forever.
I agree.
In late July, Starbucks Workers United, alongside other leftist groups, hit the streets of Philadelphia.
Let's go.
The demonstration, called The Union is Calling, was an organized bus tour of 13 cities, including Minneapolis, St. Paul, Atlanta, Chicago, Knoxville, Louisville, Pittsburgh, Buffalo, Los Angeles, San Francisco, Eugene, Portland, and
Someone
Seattle.
mentioned David Lynch. Why? What you want about?
Comprises 335 Starbucks stores in 38 states and the District of Columbia. Starbucks, however, has failed to negotiate in good faith with the union, while continuing to rack up hundreds of federal labor violations.
Yep.
Organizers in Philadelphia
We spoke a little bit about this last week.
to remove a non-union Starbucks store from city-owned property, and speakers described the poor treatment of workers and the company's illegal union-busting campaign. The union's 9 core demands include the ability to organize, rights such as cause employment, worker safety, fair wages, access to healthcare, consistent schedules, increased leave of absence and time off, as well as access to the withheld benefits corporate officials have only given non-union employees. As long as they keep up the pressure, the corporate lackeys are bound to lose. People's movements around the world rallied this month for the Let Cuba Live campaign, demanding that Cuba be removed from the U.S. state sponsors of terrorism list.
Yes,
Organizers
this is
include
huge,
the International People's Assembly, Foro de Sao Paulo, Trade Union Federation.
Can't believe that dipshit billionaire ran for president. What, Howard Schultz?
Of the Americas, World March of Women, Continental Latin American and Caribbean Network in solidarity with Cuba, and La Via Campesina. They're aiming to obtain more than 1 million signatures on a letter that will be delivered to President Biden, demanding that Cuba be removed from the list. The letter states that Cuba's inclusion on the list makes it much harder for Cuba to make transactions using international banking systems and acquire necessary goods.
It's true, it's a fact. That's an actual
fuel,
fact.
Food, construction supplies, hygiene products, and medicine. The movement has already collected signatures from high-profile names such as Peter Mertens, president of the Belgian Workers' Party, feminist scholar Judith Butler, and Evo Morales, the former president of Bolivia. The General Secretary of Morena said of the movement, "This is an invitation to gather more than 1 million signatures. For all of us who are aware of what is happening in Cuba, of the measures being taken by the US government and their effects on the Cuban people, to sign this form, in this campaign to let Cuba live. Because no person in the world should be subjected to the decisions of another country."
I'm sure Biden will listen. Yeah, well, even if Biden does listen, when Trump gets back in, the first thing he'll do is put it on the terrorist list again, right?
Secretly powerful to prevent the possibility.
But just don't forget, chat, you gotta vote. You gotta vote.
Of living in peace. On Thursday, August 3rd, as many as 90,000 accredited social health activists united in the capital of India's Bihar state, Patna, calling for the state government to meet their demands.
Schultz was on the Dem ticket.
If the government fails to do so, they threatened to intensify their mobilization.
That's true. I remember that.
The protesters were organized by a joint platform of various unions and associations. Among other demands, they call for a regular monthly wage equivalent to $120 instead of the current $12 a month.
Right. Literally 2 terms in a row that people in the US are not voting for someone, but against someone else, right? It's such a racket. It's a scam. You know what I mean? Oh, this guy's not like openly saying slurs, so we'll vote for him. You know what I mean?
As well as government employee status and pensions. All power to the workers. Staff at a lodge for LNG workers in Canada's under-construction facility in Kitimat, BC have won wage increases of up to 40%, averting a strike.
Oh, and this is great, chat. Because look, as soon as they said, we're thinking about a strike, the fucking company was like, okay. Don't worry, we'll have a look at this. Wage increases of up to 40%.
The workers' union, Unite Here Local 40, stated the new deal was reached after the 450...
You know, you should just, when this happens, they should just go, oh, So you mean you could probably afford to pay us even more and then do another strike? That's what they should do, chat, because like if they could just so easily fold and be like, okay, yeah, 40% wage, is that what you want? No problem. Cut a check, right? The people in unions should take notice of that and be like, hang on a minute, so what you're saying is, actually, it was very easy for you to come to that decision. So maybe we should ask for more. I don't know. Just what I'm thinking, chat.
The hospitality workers at Cedar Valley Lodge unanimously voted in favor of ratifying the new contract. The union says this means most employees will receive a 30 to 40% pay bump over a 1-year contract.
You know, that's pretty good.
While lodge workers will immediately get $5 more hourly, and maintenance staff will see an immediate 10% pay spike. On top of that...
Again, it's like, it's so little in the face of the massive cost of living crisis that's going on all over the Imperial Core, right? And obviously the Imperial Periphery. Sorry, I should say the world. I don't know if you've been following the writer's strike, but it's been nothing but that. Yeah, that rocks. That fucking rocks.
Employees will receive...
I've been here and there following the writer's strike, yeah.
Increased vacation pay, improvements to medical benefits, a new retirement plan, and workload protections for kitchen, janitor, and housekeeping roles.
I know that like SAG-AFTRA, so not the Writers Guild, because the Writers Guild is the WGA, Writers Guild Alliance, and the or the Writers Guild Association or something like that. I don't know. But SAG-AFTRA have actually voted to like poll members about video game work as well, which is incredible. Which is gonna absolutely fuck a bunch of video games coming out pretty soon, which is pretty funny. There'll probably be like a bunch of delays due to it. So, extremely good. They always sell it as this is one of the greatest deals workers have ever been offered. Why are they so greedy? Yeah, it's so bad. They're hanging in there after 5 months and they aren't going to back down. It's really, really good. Yeah. Really, really good. Cap Curve in the chat says, how's the queer and black people living in Cuba when they're being buried alive? Listen, my friend, what you are doing is you are talking about, oh, the last time you came in the chat. Here we go. The last time you came in the chat said, I love how the folks who invaded, colonized, massacres, enslaved now depict themselves as victims by making it all about capitalism and class, but basic humanity has never been a priority for Anglos. I remember when you said that, yeah? And I said to you, that's a very valid point to make, but it's completely irrelevant. We're not actually talking about that. No one in here is doing that. You know, I think you'll find my community is quite intersectional when it comes to, indigenous sovereignty, black power, queer power. I myself am actually a queer, believe it or not. And now you're in here doing a very similar thing again, aren't you? Where you're saying, queer and black people living in Cuba, they're being buried alive, right? Well, first of all, I'd like to see a source for that actually happens, right? Like you're claiming that that's some kind of like state sanctioned thing that goes on in Cuba or anything like that. So if that's what you're claiming, let's see a source for that. I don't doubt for a second that there are queer-phobic and racist people in Cuba. In fact, I know it for a fact because we did a whole fucking 4-stream special on Cuba, right? That talked about all kinds of issues pertaining to that. But if you're claiming that there's some kind of like state sanctioned violence that goes on that's like, in one of the most, by the way, one of the most progressive countries for queer people, right? In the world, by the way, in the fucking world, in terms of like laws, yeah? We don't know about what actually goes on the ground, but in terms of laws, what the people overwhelmingly voted for in a referendum, which is how Cuba does its politics, right? How it does its democracy. Overwhelmingly, people voted for one of the most progressive laws that protects queer people and trans people all over the country. So, if you can find me a source for that, says it's like state sanctioned or whatever, like whatever point you're trying to make, that would be great. You have 3 minutes. Otherwise, this will be the second time that you've tried to derail the stream on a clearly bad faith argument, and I'll ban you if you don't come at me with a source or some kind of justification for why you've said that. So So there you go. That's the ultimatum that you're getting, because otherwise you're just an annoying chat member that is not bringing anything to the table. Yeah.
It just goes to show how even the threat of a strike holds incredible power.
Writers Guild of America,
the
that's
boss
what it
needs
is.
You.
That's what it is.
You don't need them. And the union makes us strong. On July 27th, US-based Korean activists protested outside the US Department of State in Washington, D.C., demanding an end to the 70-year-long Korean War and the travel ban on North Korea.
Yes!
Activists also
Holy shit, let's go!
individually signed postcards and an open letter endorsed by 62 organizations addressed to President Joe Biden and Secretary of State Antony Blinken, which support the abolition of the US travel ban.
Great.
These demonstrations are the result of a week of workshops, rallies, and meetings with lawmakers organized by US-based peace groups such as Women Cross DMZ, No Do Tall for Korean Community Development, Code Pink, and Korea Peace Now.
We've not done a lot of stuff on Korea chat on this here stream, but from what I've seen, like people talking about it, like people who are a bit more knowledgeable than me, it's like a very similar situation to Cuba, basically, where it's just like, oh, we wanted to do a colonialism here and it didn't quite work out. The resistance was like pretty fucking good, so we're just gonna like make everybody hate them, right? We're just gonna like absolutely pummel them with shitty fucking sanctions, and that's the end of it.
Kathy Choi, Director of Policy and Organizing at Women Cross DMZ, said this support speaks to the widespread will of the American public to see a swift end to this draconian travel ban. The DMZ and travel bans forcibly split up Korean families to this day. Solidarity with this powerful movement. Venezuela has won a lawsuit against the Portuguese bank Novo Banco, recovering over $1.5 billion worth of assets frozen in the bank since 2019.
Buzzin'.
These assets were supposed to fund medicines, food products, and other essential supplies for Venezuela.
You are
The
kidding
District
me.
Court of Lisbon, Portugal, declared the judicial appeal filed by the Venezuelan government well-founded, and ordered the immediate release of the money to various Venezuelan public entities.
Buzzin'.
This marks
Let's
the
go.
latest victory of the Bolivarian
Turn up the
Republic
socialism
and
dial,
its
chat.
people against sanctions imposed by the US and frozen funds in various international banks. Foreign Minister Ivan Gil celebrated the win as the result of a long battle and above all of the resistance of the Venezuelan people and the government of Nicolás Maduro, who do not allow themselves to be subdued by threats from imperialism and coup attempts. On July 29th and 30th, over 250 people from the Workers' World Party branches in Seattle, Portland, and New York City united in the People's Summit against the Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation, APEC. APEC is a neoliberal free trade conference where, in the words of International League of People Struggle, government and big business collude to prioritize corporate profits at the expense of the global working class and poor.
Fuck this.
Attendees agreed on the necessity for a united front in the fight against imperialism and capitalism, and workshops discussed how to organize for a revolution and encourage working class solidarity. The summit ended with a rally from Cal Anderson Park to the Seattle Convention Center Summit Building to confront members of APEC. Speeches were given at the center discussing themes of international solidarity, people's power, and the role of US imperialism as the main cause of the worldwide oppression of workers.
Yep, it's
Remember,
true, they're right, and they should
that
say it.
Imperialism is the primary contradiction, and it's your responsibility to do everything in your power to end it.
Yep, very true.
On the 8th of August, Issue 1, a right-wing movement attempting to prevent abortion access legislation, was crushed by a record turnout. For
Let's
over a
go,
century,
Ohio.
Ohioans have been able to amend the state constitution via a majority. The failed attempt of Issue 1 would have changed that threshold to 60%, making it more difficult to amend the state constitution. But 57% of the voters said no, rejecting this measure and ensuring that access to abortion is enshrined.
Hell
A
yeah,
significant
let's
win
fucking
for
go.
reproductive
That's
justice.
huge. That's huge.
Ready for a laugh?
Is this bit just going to be about how Glinner got like 2 shows cancelled at the Edinburgh Fringe? Is that just what this is going to be? I love this. Okay, all right, let's go, man.
Graham Linehan, a famous transphobe known for being banned from Twitter and his wife leaving him, tried to do his anti-trans comedy show in Edinburgh this month. He had booked the Leith Arches, but once the pro-LGBTQ venue learned what he planned to perform, they quickly cancelled on him.
Yep.
He claimed to have a second venue, which also cancelled. In the end, he resorted to doing his show outside of Parliament to about 4 guys. Credit to him, that is very funny.
It is. Great. You know what? I love it. that works. That works. Positive leftist news is sometimes just having a laugh, isn't it? Sometimes just having a laugh. And also that chatter who I asked for the, sort of clarifying information as to why they're so mad at Cuba, and always coming up with things in the chat that's completely irrelevant to what we're talking about, has not provided me with that information. So that's why you banned Cap Curve. That's why you banned. So now you can't chat in the chat anymore. I hope you just, I don't know, whatever you're searching for, whatever it is that you are trying to get out of, like, doing all this whataboutism and, shit like that. I hope you get it. I hope you find fulfillment in your life that you're searching for, quite clearly. But I will give you one tip. I don't think you're going to find that on Twitch. Definitely not in the politics category. So, yeah. That. Hey, Rohumilde, how you doing? Welcome in.
Ecuadorians have rejected oil drilling in a protected area of the Amazon.
Yeah, I agree,
putting
Chris,
an end to operations in a region that is home to isolated indigenous groups and important biodiversity. With over
we saw
90%
this.
of the ballots counted,
Yeah,
and
this is
60%
great
voter
news.
turnout, Ecuadorians rejected the oil exploitation within Yasuni National Park.
And hopefully this spreads to the whole of Ecuador, because we learned that there are like a bunch of oil drilling projects already going on in Ecuador, all over the place, on other indigenous lands as well. So hopefully, other activists will take heed of this and use it to sort of be like, look, this is proof that you can do this, so you should do it all over the country.
Is inhabited by the Tagari and Oromonani, alongside other indigenous peoples. In
I can't show this. There's breasts.
1989, it was registered, along with neighboring areas, as a World Biosphere Reserve by the United Nations Educational, Scientific,
This happened
and
the last
Cultural
time.
Organization, also known as UNESCO, covering a surface area of around
Like,
1
for me,
million hectares.
I just don't. I genuinely, chat, don't just don't see breasts as like a sexual thing anymore. I just don't. So I'm sorry. I'm sorry, John Twitch. Don't ban me, please.
The area comprises
Made a
610
mistake.
species of birds, 139 species of amphibians, and 121 species of reptiles. At least 3 species are native to this area, and can be found nowhere else globally. Nemo Gikita, a leader of the Waorani tribe, said,
You're not missing
"Ecuadorians
anything,
have come
chat. Don't
together
worry.
for this cause to provide a life opportunity for our indigenous brothers and sisters, and also to show the entire world, amidst these challenging times of climate change, that we stand in support of the rainforest."
Hell yeah. Okay, I think
On
we're good.
Thursday, August 3rd, the Glasgow Sheriff Court acquitted activist Nathan Hennebree of the Young Communist League, charged during the 2021 COP26 climate protest. Hennebree was one of over 50 people arrested during the course of the protests, but he was the only one facing a trial, as Scottish police were allegedly attempting to target the YCL and the Communist Party.
Oh yeah.
During COP26, over 100,000 activists from leftist climate action groups and youth groups united on the streets demanding concrete proposals from the summit to prevent further climate catastrophe. The YCL group that held banners which read "Socialism or Extinction" was heavily monitored by the police. Hennebree was accused of being in possession of a flare that could have caused injury to police during the march. According to a Morning Star report,
Fuck cops,
the
chat.
case against Hennebree fell through after 2 police witnesses at the trial gave differing accounts of the incident.
Oh my god. Cops are so stupid, man. Like, that's what comes with, like, the absurd privilege. Yeah? Like, the absolutely absurd privilege that you get from being a copper, where it's like you just expect everything that you do to, like, turn to gold, and that's the end of it, right? Where it's like you just simply get shit wrong because of that. I guess it's arrogance, isn't it? It's arrogance that it's like, oh yeah, no, this guy's definitely going down because yeah, he absolutely had a thing. So we don't need to think about the trial or anything like that. Fuck cops.
Following the verdict in the case,
Idiots.
the Communist Party of Britain demanded an end to the attacks on communists, trade unionists, and environmentalists, the repeal of Tory laws expanding police powers and attacking the right to protest, and real action to save the planet and humanity from climate change.
It is honestly just like, if anything, like bureaucrats in fucking Westminster, or anyone who values like the awful bureaucracy that holds up our shitty little country, yeah, should actually like listen to that appeal, because it is just a waste of the court's time. So if you like value the time that your civil servants are like doing stuff then you would want to change this law, because it is a waste of time. It's not doing anyone any favors at all. But
Australian scientists of Sturt National Park successfully reintroduced locally extinct species to safe zones in a nation home to one of the world's worst mammal extinction rates. The experiment is called Wild Deserts and is run by the University of New South Wales in partnership with NSW Parks and Wildlife, whose aim is to return indigenous extinct animals to locations they once inhabited.
Oh my god.
To achieve this aim, scientists have fenced off 40 square kilometers, providing a pest-free safe haven for species to breed and learn to coexist. Scientists released 27 of the mammals a year ago, and there are now an estimated 120. Ecologist and project coordinator Reese Pedler said, "We've reintroduced bilbies and shark-bay bandicoots, and golden bandicoots and some other species are to come in the next few years."
Let's fucking go.
For the first time in U.S. history, a Montana state court ruled on August 14th in favor of Montana youths that the state violated their right to a clean and healthful environment through its promotion of the use of fossil fuels.
Absolutely
This represents a landmark victory for climate activists who have, for decades, been attempting to hold governments to account for turning a blind eye to CO2 emissions. This is even more astounding considering it involved just 16 Montanans, aged between 5 and 22, who brought the nation's first constitutional and first youth-led climate lawsuit to trial. Undoubtedly, this will inspire other activists and spark further such court cases.
Absolutely.
Executive Director of Our Children's Trust, Julia Olson, summarized, "This is a huge win for Montana, for youth, for democracy, and for our climate. More rulings like this will certainly come."
100%. 100 fucking
Comrades,
percent.
if you have good news from the current month, please send your stories to mexi@protonmail.com. Thank you to Javi for the positive news jams.
There you go, chat.
Cosmo for the positive news background. Thank you to Mexi, Catherine, Seb, and Marshall for scriptwriting and production. And thank you to Tristan for editing this video. And to yours truly for hosting this one. If you'd like to support the project,
make sure
patreon.com/positiveleftistnews.
You go and support Positive Leftist News. They are an amazing channel. Your boy has been on a Positive Leftist News, so that's why you should go ahead and support them, if anything, because they gave me money, so that's great. And you too can give me money with the sub off Twitch command, because Twitch is of course my full-time job, and I need money to help me pay my bills, my rent, eat, and all that stuff. So please consider subbing off Twitch and giving me some money. But chat, I'm going to be honest with you, I've been super tired all day. I'm very, very, very wary of like doing too much, and I know that I went to the gym on Friday, and it's the first time I've been to the gym in 3 months since I had this fatigue. Obviously I don't really have the fatigue, definitely not in the same way that I did, but I am still being pretty fucking cautious. And just as the stream's been going on, I've been feeling a little sort of like low energy, and I feel like I should call it here. I feel like this is the right thing to do, but that doesn't mean that this is the end of your fun, chat. I know it's only been 2 hours, but don't forget, I got a bunch of socials. I got YouTube channel, I got a VOD channel where you can watch past streams and all that stuff, and we're gonna go and raid a fellow Twitch streamer. That's what's gonna happen. We're gonna go and show some love to someone who is streaming on Twitch right now. Oh, hold up a second. I think I might have to like log out and log back in because I'm in the bot account. Just give me a second, chat. Just give me a second to do this, and then we'll be raiding someone. Okay, log in. Yeah, that one. Come on. Oh, I've gotta send me a code. Okay. Alright. Great, I did it. And show me who's live. Show me who's fucking live. Okay. Kara's live. We're gonna go ahead and raid Kara. She's playing Baldur's Gate. Everybody here loves video games. So we're gonna go and say hi to my sweet friend Kara Chats. She is amazing. You'll have a great time. Use the raid command in the chat. Use the raid 2 command if you're not subbed. Yeah, let's go and show us some love. She's getting backseated to fuck, it looks like, in the chat. Everyone's telling her, go here, do this. Go there, do that. Anyway, chat, I love you all so much. Thank you so much today for the dono, the one dono that I got. Thank you for the one sub that I got. And no follows today. But more than anything, thank you so much just for being here, for supporting me, for chatting, enjoying the stream. I'm sorry it was a real short one, but we got a little bit of content out of it, so that was quite fun, wasn't it? But I will see you all tomorrow. I'm back tomorrow, all well and good. I think I should be fine. I've been absolutely fine recently. I'm just being a little over careful. I don't want to fuck my body up anymore. Do you know what I mean? So anyway, if you've been watching this VOD on YouTube, please like, share, comment, subscribe, and I will see you in the next stream. Mwah. Stay excellent to each other. Peace, 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 peace.